My wife and I used to work...
Now, Mark Miller tells us in his own words about a strange event in which he narrowly avoided injury thanks to a prophetic dream.
Well, my wife was working in hotel sales, and she received 2 complimentary tickets to a baseball game. And since she was quite busy at the time, she gave me the tickets, and she suggested that I take my friend. And I invited my friend Kelly, who is quite a fanatic, and he and I decided that we would go to the game. That's when it started. That night was the night that I had the dream. In the dream, my friend and I were at a baseball game looking for our seats. As we were finding our seats, there was a loud crack from home plate, and I turned to see a baseball headed in my direction. And I froze and tried to avoid the ball. There was nothing that I could do to get away from the ball. I watched the ball hit me in the head. And there was this giant, bright explosion in the dream, and I woke up suddenly out of it. And right when I woke up, I told my wife, and she said, well, don't worry about it. It's just a dream. We discussed it for a minute and then decided that it was no big deal, that I was dreaming about this. And so went back to sleep. The problem was I kept on having the dream night after night. And I kept on telling her about it, and I kept on telling my friends about it. And the dream kept on happening. Well, the day of the game arrived, and Kelly and I went to the game. We got a drink and a hot dog, and we had our hands full. And as we approached the seats, everything began to seem very familiar to me. The seats that we were sitting in were the same seats that my dream had. So right when we sat down in our chairs, I realized that the chairs we were sitting at were identical to what my dream was. Everything was so similar that when I sat down in my chair, that crack in my dream happened again, except this time it was real. And as I turned to home plate, it seemed like all time froze. I saw the ball coming again at me, and there was nothing I could do to move or to get away from the ball. I was frozen. I felt like the dream was happening, but this was real life. And I pretty much resigned myself to the fact that I was going to get hit by the ball. And I felt like there was nothing I could do. As it got within inches of my head, the fellow who was sitting behind me stuck his hand out and barehanded caught the ball right next to my head. And my friend Kelly said, "That's just like the dream." But the dream didn't totally come true because the guy behind me had caught the ball before it hit my head. I tried to thank him, and he wasn't there anymore. When this experience happened, it really kind of made me see that we're not in complete control of our lives. And there are things outside of our realm that we need to appreciate and to acknowledge.
Did Mark Miller's dream somehow save him from a possibly serious injury? Why did he not dream of the fan behind him who would save him from the impact of the speeding ball? Mark Miller admits he may never have all the answers, but it has given him much more to think about.